grab a drink, grab your pizza, come and have a seat. I am neither Patrick nor Sarah. Those are the people you came here to see. I am Mike Slack. I'm one of the co-founders and partners here at Starspace, so we're so happy and thankful that you are here for this installment, maybe our 7th installment of Start Doing Something. Patrick and Sarah, we'll get to them in just a minute. We want to let you know about a couple things going on this well, at the end, I'll tell you all the things going on as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Let me just start off with the basics of who we are and what we're doing here. This is We Make Oklahoma. This is part of an entrepreneurship series. We're telling the stories of successful Oklahoma entrepreneurs. This is the chef's table of Oklahoma entrepreneurs. That's what we're going for here. And so we're so happy that you're here with us as part of this series. We're sponsored today for our food and for the whole day, a series of events by OK Innovate. So we want to say a big thank you to OK Innovate for sponsoring our lunch and the coffee this morning and what's happening later today. Woohoo! So if this is your first time at Starspace 46, I want to let you know just a tiny bit about what we're about. We're trying to create a community that fosters innovation, entrepreneurship, not just for folks who are interested in tech, but for anyone who's interested in startups and small business and entrepreneurship. That's the community and the vibe that we're trying to create here. We do that by offering a variety of services and solutions for folks who might be starting a business, might be working for a small business or a startup, which includes co-working, event space, conference room rentals, a whole variety of options. And I would love to give anybody a tour who's interested after our talk. If you've never been, anybody first time in Starspace? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lots. Okay, great. So I'd love to give you a tour of our space and also let you know about what's going to happen in the future, which is we're going to move to the second floor. Actually, we're not moving to the second floor. We're taking on the second floor. In addition to doing everything we do here on the first floor, we'll be adding probably about 12 to 15 additional offices, more co-working spaces, different sizes of offices to meet the needs of various different entrepreneurship groups that are here and that we want to attract to here. So would love to let you know about that. Current members are the folks who are going to get first dibs on those second floor offices. So please stick around afterwards if you'd like to learn about that. Our goal is potentially to convert downstairs, add a coffee shop in here. We're going to deck out this patio. We've got a lot of goals for what's going to happen in this space. We're really excited about it. Hope you stick around with us. We hope that what we're doing is we're helping to place make this whole area with Film Row, with 21C, Jones Assembly, the Wheeler District Farmers Market. There's so much going on right now. This is a spot that is primed for lots of development. We think this might be commonly known as Tech West in the future going forward, or maybe the Design District, but that's the spirit and the vibe we're hoping to create here in this place, and so we'll hope you'll join us in doing all that. So I think without further ado, unless there's one more ado.
What's your name? You never said your name, sir.
My name is Mike Slack. Thanks, Patrick. No, I'm Mike. I did? Okay, good. I'm Mike. Here's a video about Sara.
Deluxe is an arts and crafts show that is a celebration of our community's talents. Deluxe came about after JD and I had participated in quite a few craft shows, and we decided that we wanted to create our own holiday show that combined a lot of the elements of our favorite shows. The Deluxe Winter Market is held every year during the Christmas shopping season and offers more than 50 artists to shop from, free admission, and a family-friendly atmosphere. At the Deluxe event, we do not allow resellers, and all of our items are handmade or artist-made. The people that you meet selling the items are the people who created them.
Oklahoma has a thriving art community, and Deluxe is another way to showcase that. Artists can come in and sell their items and promote their products. And it's been very neat to see the way that Deluxe has evolved over the past few years, the additions and the moves of venues. It's been a fun event to be a part of.
Our artists are diverse and also our crowd is diverse. You will find shoppers everywhere from punk rockers to grandmas to dads with strollers. We literally welcome everyone at Deluxe and they all have a good time.
All handmade items made from a mixture of local artists along with people from around the country who are artists and crafters in their own respect. But truthfully, what I love about Deluxe the most is Sara and JD. They are two fabulous women doing important things in Oklahoma City, and they've created this really super wonderful event for us.
Oklahoma City is a great place to be for creative people. There is so much enthusiasm about our city and so much pride. There are a lot of artists who love to celebrate our city and are very proud to be from here. And you can see it in the quality of the work that you'll find at Deluxe. For more information about shopping, becoming an artist, or becoming a sponsor of Deluxe, please visit our website, deluxeok.net.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sara Cowan. For a big round of applause.
So I've got a pile of sunglasses and stickers over there for you. Those are some things that we put in the goodie bags for the first 50 customers who show up in line, and they do show up in line, waiting outside the door. So feel free to help yourself to some sunglasses and a sticker.
One of the coolest things I noticed when I first watched that video is the fact that they don't allow any resellers. So people that have like chains of like the perfumes and the jewelry and stuff like that, those are persona non grata?
Just not the place for it.
Got
No,
it.
it's a craft show. Kind of like I have people complain about that, but then I explain to them that you know, if you are a race car driver, you don't get mad about not being invited to the Kentucky Derby. Like,
Right.
please, this is just not the place.
Got it. Got it.
So, yeah.
So this is obviously not a full year thing. So let's start a little bit with where Sara drove from today to get here. What does Sara do full time during the day?
I don't want to say full-time, but I work 30 hours a week at Oklahoma Today magazine, which is part of the tourism department. I write and I fact check, and my editor Carly is here. She has become a really important part of Deluxe, and so I'll tell you about that later.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so Deluxe market once a year, a couple of years now, or I think it's a few years now in Leadership Square. But did I read right? It's been around 11 years?
This is our 11th show,
Okay.
but it's our 10th year.
10th year.
In 2009, that really fantastic economic year, we decided to have two shows. We had a
Okay.
spring show, but that's just too exhausting for my partner and I, so
Okay.
we decided to just bring it back down to one year.
Got it. Okay. So the first one would have been like Christmas 2009 or
It was
Christmas
2008, Christmas
Okay.
time 2008. It was in December, just a couple
Okay.
weeks before Christmas.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about that very first show. Like in 2008, when did you guys come up with that? Was that like in November or was it in June? What led up to the two of you, or I'm not sure who started the very first show, how that very first show, who had that first idea to get that first show started?
Well, there was actually a group of sellers from the Oklahoma Etsy team. If anybody's a fan of Etsy, we used to all sell our handmade goods on Etsy back then before it got just way too crowded with a lot of manufactured goods. So we were all big fans of handmade, and handmade was kind of a thing back then. And there was a lot of shows, and we participated in quite a few shows. We participated in the Girly Show and the Rock and Roll Garage Sale and a lot of other shows, and JD participated in other arts markets. And there were a lot of great things about other shows, but we wanted to combine our favorite elements into one thing. Like, we wanted to have free admission. We wanted to have it quiet enough to where if you had a baby in a stroller, like, the baby's not going to wake up because there's a rock concert going on. We wanted it to be friendly for all genders, and we wanted to have plenty of seating for if grandma gets tired, she can sit down. She doesn't have to be exhausted and go sit in the car. There's just a lot of little tiny details that we wanted to put together in one show, and so we decided to make our own.
Okay.
And the team, we first met at Cocoa Flow on Western for our first meeting back in the day, and there was about, I don't know, 10 women who were really interested, and then the people who stuck with it and continued to plan were J.D. McCoy and I, and then Stephanie Evans, who used to own Dig It in the Plaza District. So she's very heavily involved in the crafts and the repurposing, recycling movement, and she is still a vendor. This is going to be her last Deluxe because she's getting ready to move out of state, but she's still very supportive, even though she was only involved for the first year.
Got it. Where was the first one held?
It was at the Farmers Public Market on the first floor, which is not nearly as pretty as the second floor.
So is that the one down where you have the odd intersection, the older building, the farmer's market? Got it, okay.
Yeah.
How many vendors did you have that first time?
Boy, I forget, but I'm gonna say 50, maybe?
50?
Yeah.
So the numbers stay pretty consistent, because I think I count on the website today, and it's like 58 vendors right now?
Yeah, and we did experiment with getting bigger whenever we moved to the state fairgrounds. We had a very large building, and we experimented with filling up that building, and it created redundancy among artists. It created competition among them, people selling similar items, and that's just not how we want to treat our artists. And so we decided to utilize that space differently other years. Like we would have roller derby girls or a breakdancing contest a couple years, or we could pull in a big truck that has a letterpress inside it. You know, we just wanted to utilize the space in a way that didn't do a disservice to our artists.
Got it.
So.
Got it. A lot of what we're talking about is the process of running an event like this or running a business in Oklahoma. So when you guys came up with this idea, were there any like things you had to register, like when it came to like an LLC or business licenses? Can you talk a little bit about that, about starting something like this in Oklahoma if somebody else wanted to do something like this?
We did register as an LLC. We registered with the tax commission. Our vendors do need to report their sales tax, and so whenever we have an event, we need to register in advance with the tax commission, and then they give us a form to hand out to all of our vendors, and they check in. Some people have their own tax accounts because they do a lot of events, or they do retail or something. But some of them just do 1 or 2 shows a year, so they will just fill out the tax form. They might even give us cash at the show that we put in an envelope and then report to the tax commission later.
Okay.
But yeah, vendors definitely have to charge sales tax and remit that to the state.
So if somebody here wanted to join and have like a booth there, can you kind of help me understand a little bit the cash flow? Do people gather payments at the individual thing and then it flows through you, or do you guys, all the revenue
No,
comes through you guys?
they all manage their own individual sales. We have
Okay.
nothing to do with it. We don't take a cut. We are not in this to make money.
Okay.
They manage their own sales, and then they just keep track of their final sales, and then they whatever sales they make, they remit to the state or us, and then we do it on their behalf. But it's 0.8375% sales tax,
Got it.
and it
It's almost
hasn't
like she knows the
changed.
number
It's
well,
almost,
right.
yeah. One thing was that JD, before she quit to go get another degree, she went back to school to go get a master's in horticulture. So
Right.
it's kind of me, but I'll get into that more in a minute. She used to take care of all the logistics and business and fire marshal and the things that were behind the scenes, but so important. Like she built this beautiful chart that's a floor map, and a layout. And then you have to register it with the fire marshal, let him know that yes, we are staying away from 15 feet from the entrances, and yes, there are 10-foot aisles. And she did all that, and it scared me to death.
Right.
But now that I did it by myself, it's okay and it's fine. And I actually really enjoy having this thing I can write on and wipe off and do it 20 times before the show. It's so much fun.
Nice.
So
this is the Leadership Square version.
this is
of it.
Leadership Square, yeah, and we're using the first 2 floors, and oh, it's such a blessing. The floor at Leadership Square is laid out in patterns of tile and carpet that are 10 foot by 10 foot already. So it's very easy to lay out the floor and like mark it with our masking tape, and it's so different from being in a place which is like a big concrete floor that you have to measure and make up as you go along.
So you said only one event a year. Are you going to
One
kind of
event a year.
stick with that?
Yeah.
You're never going to expand, you don't think?
Well, if I do expand, it would be to co-brand with someone else, or to work or to use my event planning skills with another entity,
Okay.
or somebody else who wants to use my expertise, because I don't want to saturate the market. There's already plenty of craft. I think that the market has shown us in the past few years, with a lot of events coming and going, exactly what the market can support
Can
on the
bear,
holiday
okay.
season.
Okay.
And so I don't want to create competition that hurts our artists.
Okay. By the way, while we're going through this journey here, it's meant to be completely interactive. So if you have any questions for Sarah or I, please, probably more for her. I'm the boring one up here. She's the creative one. Please, raise them, because I would not have a clue sometimes as to what kind of questions the more creative of you are going to ask right there. I saw on the website that you guys do sponsorship. Is that a big part of supporting the event too?
No.
No?
No. It's never been a huge moneymaker. We have had some significant financial support from people over the years.
Right.
Downtown OKC Inc. has been very helpful to us. But in general, we don't just rank in, like this doesn't pay my rent.
Okay.
And we don't charge admission because we don't think it's appropriate to charge people money to shop. And also, like, that's just like a quick $1,000 that is not going to make a difference in my life, but it's going to kind of alienate people who would like to bring their whole family, but would rather not pay $10 at the door or, try to get in their whole family. This has never been a thing to make money. JD and I used to say that it was our gift to the community to do this every year. I would love to make money on it. I would love to find an appropriate sponsorship that was mutually beneficial, that also could support the work that I do for months getting this ready. But I don't want to have a partnership with a corporation who's not connected to us. Or is not an appropriate fit. So I have not been in a rush to create income, create significant income from this.
When I was coming up with questions for this, I was going to ask you, are there any particular challenges with arranging an event like this with so many kind of free spirits and creative people, or is everyone pretty well organized? I'm used to like organizing tech events or being involved with that, and I was just kind of curious, are all the artists pretty easy to work with, or any particular challenges?
In general, yes, because this is their business, this is their livelihood, and Deluxe is the best show of their year.
Okay.
And so
this is the highlight of some of their years.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, and they take it seriously, and they treat it like a business, and they come prepared, and the people who show up late or pack up and leave early don't get invited back.
Oh, okay.
And that doesn't happen very often, but it has happened a couple times, and so the people who don't take it seriously are not meant to be part of it.
Right.
So,
so it naturally filters itself out over time.
right. But even the people who are young artists, they take it so seriously. I mean, you may have seen in the video Tessa Raven was doing a caricature. She had been involved with us when she was 14 doing caricatures. She did portraits of people as Cyclops. When she was like 14 in very, very early days. And so even really young people take it so seriously and treat it very professionally, and it's not a problem dealing with creatives, because creatives can be professional.
Yes, at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
In the early days when you were getting started getting the licensing and stuff like that, do you think that the process was pretty easy here in the state of Oklahoma? Do you think Oklahoma was pretty business friendly in that way when it comes to getting something like that started up? Or did you have any particularly... Do you remember anything that was like really a headache to get started here in Oklahoma when you guys were getting that first year out?
No, because we are an LLC, that process was fairly easy for us. And the people in the tax commission and the people, who guide us through the steps. I mean, I didn't encounter any negativity or anybody. Nobody wants to stop you from having a business.
Right.
So, no, I didn't have any problems with that. JD did the most of the paperwork for that early on, and then we did get our federal employee identification number, and then we needed to get event insurance and things like that. So there's a lot of things to do, but for an annual event, you can do that in July. You don't have to do it all the month before the event.
Got it. Would you say that putting this event on in Oklahoma versus, you and I were talking about Santa Fe earlier, there's a big co-op there, or some of the other states, I'm not quite sure where you've worked. Would you say that in Oklahoma it's kind of easier to put this on, a little bit more of a challenge? If you've ever worked any place else like that, is Oklahoma a pretty easy place to put on an event like this?
I haven't put on an event anywhere else, but I do know that the culture in Oklahoma is very welcoming and inclusive and team-oriented. Like, people aren't so competitive with each other with the creative endeavors. They make room for people. They give advice to people. They are quite happy to include new participants. There's room for you. There's room for things to happen in this city. Whereas I can imagine living in a large city, like if you want to start a craft fair in Austin, good luck. There's probably plenty of people already doing that, and you're just gonna be another one.
Kind of saturated?
Yeah, it's just saturated.
Okay.
Whereas here, when we first started, people were so excited have things to do. Like, remember when Girly Show first started, people were so excited about it. It was like something to do on the weekend. Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, well,
They've
it
never
just,
invited me to Girly
it
Show
did
for
about
some
10
reason.
years. Well, but then after for so long, it wasn't the only thing to do on the weekend anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Oklahoma City has just become such an entertainment hub. It's a different place than it was 10 years ago.
Got it.
So.
When I was looking at the website and saw some of the different things involved with, I saw that there's like a nonprofit or there's a charitable part that you guys contribute to also. Can you
Yes.
talk about that?
Yeah, Deluxe is not a nonprofit, but we choose a nonprofit to work with every year. I offer booths to certain social justice-oriented nonprofits every year, but separately, I will do a fundraiser for a nonprofit. This year, I've chosen Curbside Chronicle.
Okay.
And I've added a new thing the past few years. My son had the idea to copy the Young at Art Mart that they have at the Arts Festival, where the children can walk in and buy donated art and at a very low price, but their parents can't coach them. They can't say, "Ooh, that's a Bert Seaborn, go get that." So they go in there and they shop, and every penny of that goes straight to the Curbside Chronicle. In fact, this year I'm having the Curbside Chronicle operate the cash box, just straight to them. And so that's a really fun thing. I've got a couple celebrity shopping guides volunteer this year. I've got Lance West from KFOR, and I've got Chris Weiser from Sugar Free All Stars.
Got it.
So they're going to help kids shop
But
while
no
the
Sugar
parents
Free
wait
All Stars
outside.
performing, right?
No, I had live music for quite a while. I had Sugar Free All Stars and Skating Polly and Jack Fowler all perform in our early days, but the people are not there for entertainment. They're there to shop, and they don't give the musicians the attention they deserve.
Right.
So I just decided to not have live entertainment anymore.
Right. You've learned the right mixture of the music versus the regular creatives.
Yeah.
Regular creatives, that sounds kind of weird.
Well, now I have a playlist that on Spotify that I've curated for years and years, and I spend the whole year curating it. So if you're on Spotify and you want to look up the Deluxe 2017, 2018, no,
Yep.
what year is it? It's 2017.
Yeah, right.
It keeps changing every year. But
Every
it's
year
like a
it's
10,
not like that.
it's like a 10-hour playlist, and it's family friendly, but it's also really fun. And I don't do any Christmas music on it. And so, I know, right? Yeah. And so, you'll hear some stuff like, I don't know, you might hear some old Cure remixes or Can or somebody. And it's just a lot of hipster stuff that might really hit the sweet spot of somebody.
Yeah,
and there's
right.
also some family friendly, just some really approachable stuff I don't know,
Right.
Motown or whatever.
Yeah, it's
So-
right there on the website. You can go right there on the right of the website and subscribe to her Spotify playlist. It's already up there, up and running.
Yeah.
So would be the kind of creative person that inspires someone like me who's not a creative. But what other creative people in Oklahoma do you look at that are doing kind of unique or different things out there?
I'm so excited about what's happening with Factory Obscura, which is the immersive art. It's a collective that they've built this art installation inside Current Co-op at 12th and Penn, and that's a temporary exhibit that's going to be up through the end of February, and it's a fundraiser. It's kind of like a preview for what will happen when they have a permanent space, and it's like Willy Wonka plus Science Museum plus the Womb. It's just so immersive and family friendly, and it's free to go in there and look around and touch the things and look at the things and sit in the thing. It's amazing. And it's very much inspired by and supported by Meow Wolf in Santa Fe. So I'm so excited about that. And they are 2 weeks away from the end of their big fundraiser that they're doing. They're doing a Hatch Fund fundraiser. So they've got to raise about $14,000 in 2 weeks. And that is so they can pay the artists for the work that they've done. What? I know, yeah, it's just amazing to hear people wanting to pay artists as if the things they do are work. Because we go in and we enjoy the art and we think it's so great, but sometimes we ask people to do it for free, and that's just not fair. So their whole concept is to operate as a business and pay the artists for the work they do, and that's just amazing. So that's a new thing that I'm so excited about. And people behind that are Kelsey Carper, Tammy Greenman, Hugh Mead, Laura and Laurent Massenat, and then a man named Thomas, who I just recently met, but it was his idea.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I think Laura just talked about this the other evening at our creativity beta event right down here. I think I missed that particular one. That was the evening, but Laura gave a little presentation about that. So
Yeah.
we're very excited to We were very excited to hear from her about that.
Go run through there. It's open on the weekends from noon to 6. It's 12th and Penn inside Current Studio. It's right next door to a great little taqueria. And I have a studio at a shared space a couple doors down, Current Co-op. So there's a lot of art things happening at 12th and Penn that you might not even know about. So yeah, go check out Factory Obscura. It's a big deal.
Has anyone been there yet?
There was something on NPR this morning about that.
What? Oh, that sounds great. Maybe they're in the events calendar on KOSU, or was it a story on national NPR? Okay,
Probably on KGOU or KOSU, something like that.
awesome. We'll have to check that out.
So, I think I've heard at least 3 distinct, tests that you've used on your business model on different things. So size, like number of vendors, different locations, whether or not to have live music. I'm curious about any other things that you've experimented with that either worked, really well or, didn't work really well, that you've added to this thing that's been going on for 10 years.
Okay, yeah, we've definitely learned a lot. I was just thinking of some examples of mistakes I've made early on. This isn't necessarily broad vision things, but just I didn't know early on, if I invite an MC and b-boys to come have a b-boy battle, I need to provide them a microphone. I need to do that. That's not their job to bring a microphone. And our first year, we ordered lunch to be catered, not necessarily catered, just we ordered a lunch delivery from Beatnik's Cafe, and everybody looked at the menu and gave us their money for their exact change for their lunch. And so, yeah, we had the exact change for everybody's meal. Can you imagine what happened when I had them deliver 50, 100 meals, 75? I didn't have money for a tip. And I just this is 9 years ago, but it still haunts me that I didn't tip that delivery driver. And now I know you gotta have petty cash. You gotta be ready for whatever. Just little tiny details like that I've learned from, and it's so embarrassing. We used to ask people to do things for free for us, and I don't do that anymore. I have a lot of volunteers. I have 30 volunteers. And when people offer to do things for free, heck yeah, I'll take them up on it. But our first poster was designed by Ashley Smith, the tattoo artist. I wasn't aware that she was making all these designs freehand with colored pencil on vellum. And every time I saw it, I would say, no, this is a newer one. But every time I saw it, I would say, oh, that'd be cute. But it'd be cool if that pinup girl had antlers and also elf ears and also maybe some space rocket boots. And could she be riding it's kind of a sleigh, but it's also kind of a space rocket. But it's festive, but also she's a pinup. And every time I saw it, I would have her add something. And she would do all the changes, and she didn't complain. But after that, I realized what I had done to her and how I had mistreated her time, and it's just horrifying. So I value the work that artists do. And back then, we were all just asking each other to do stuff for free, for exposure. Have you seen the Twitter account called For Exposure? It's wonderful because they just post things that when people ask them to do things for free, and they're like, we need someone to design our website, but we can't pay you, but it's great exposure. And that is not a thing we do anymore.
Exposure.
You can, but you cannot pay your rent with exposures.
Exactly.
So
it doesn't fill your stomach
it
up
does
either.
not, no. So that's a thing that I don't do anymore. Unless somebody can think of something that I do and you want to call me out on it, I'm open to that.
Artist-wise, when you started bringing in some of the first early artists, what kind of mistakes did some of them coming in that you had to go back and say, add to your rules? Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, we were pretty clear from the beginning that you needed to bring only things that you had made. And I had a woman who was destashing, and she tried to pretend that she had made these stamps and made these rubber like these stamp pads, and she was just trying to get rid of them at her booth. And I was like, nope, you didn't make those. I had to, a couple years ago, a woman tried to carry in a tutu, and I have a published policy against tutus and hair bows. And she just didn't read that in the fine print, and she definitely didn't submit it on her application. It was not part of the photos she submitted. So I just went over to her and I was like, I know this is embarrassing and weird, and you're gonna think I'm crazy for this, but let's go take that tutu back to your car. I'll walk with you. It's just we just don't have those here. That's just not a thing. Luckily, I've always tried to make it really clear that it needs to be family friendly. We don't need any art with nudity or adult toys or anything like that, you know.
This isn't biting the apple.
Yeah, it's not biting the apple, and there's no adult section. And so I have had visual artists who brought some nudes or whatever, and so I mean, their work, of course, was not the right fit for Deluxe, and so it probably didn't sell well, and they never applied again. But yeah, I've had to try to make it pretty clear. I think when people visit, they kind of understand that's not what this show is.
Right.
But also, I encourage vendors to visit the show before they apply the next year, because I don't want people applying to it and not understanding our audience. You can walk around and see our audience. You can see who they are and what they value, and it's not a church basement craft fair. There's a place for church basement craft fairs, and there's
Church basement.
exactly, and that's great, and it might bring in some money and help some communities. But this is just not that audience. It's not the same thing.
You were talking earlier about goodie bags for like the first 50 people in line. When the day comes and you open up the doors, do you have like a line of people?
Oh yeah, they line up an hour and a half in advance. Carly used to be a super fan that lined up outside. I don't know how early you got there, but you were there. Yeah, it was, and that was probably before I even worked with you to Oklahoma Today. Yeah, she's been a Deluxe fan for a long time. We've had a lot of super fans who show up really every year.
Okay.
And some of the things you get in the tote bag, they're not necessarily huge, high-value items, but like there might just be something fun about being one of the first 50. I don't know. There's always a Keep It Local card. There's always some Deluxe sunglasses. There's just other things that our artists have given us and donated or business had promoted, but for some reason people just love the tote bags and they love to wait outside. Carly, what motivated you to wait for them?
It was the Keep It Local cards and stickers.
The stickers, okay. Yeah, people love those. It's great.
No, and I also wanted to give you a little bit because I know you actually have some stuff up at Elemental right now. So I wanted Sarah to talk a little bit about her own art up at Elemental, because there's anybody here who's not been to Elemental Coffee? No? No? Okay. Elemental's right up the street. It's a good place to go. So go ahead and talk about what you've got going on up there right now.
I have my visual art up there right now. I have been messing around with paint, which is what I call painting. I've been messing around with paint for a few years, but I never really made a body of work that I was super proud of and emotionally meant something to me until this year. And so I created this body of work. It's all acrylic paint. Everyone thinks it's beads. Even my journalism.
I thought it was beads.
Everyone
thinks
people who have bought it and own it and it is in their home think it is beads, and I'm like, you can touch it.
Instagram account, and I thought
No,
she's a bead artist.
nobody's on the computer, but like my Instagram is just _ Sara Cowan, and it's very colorful. It looks the patterns kind of look geological, like whenever things happen in time and create movements and cracks in the earth. It kind of looks like that when you look at it. But it's about events that happen in your life and how they can have long-lasting effects on you, and it means a lot to me. So
It's up at Elemental.
yeah, there's
to the 25th. Is that what it was? Or?
maybe coming down sooner. It might be coming down this weekend.
Got
But
it.
then it's going to move to Urban Tea House in December. But I'm gonna
Another great
have it
place.
at Deluxe. I'm gonna have my work at Deluxe since it is
So
it's
you're
up and
a
ready.
vendor at Deluxe?
Yeah, I don't usually have vend because I can't run a booth and run Deluxe at the same time.
Got it.
But this stuff is just gonna be easy, and I have plenty of vendors to run the Deluxe booth, and it'll be fine. My son is also a vendor at Deluxe for the 4th year. He's 10 now, and so now he has employees.
Wow.
He makes and sells cat buttons, and he's actually the reason Deluxe still exists, because when JD quit, I was gonna quit. And I told him that, and he cried, and he said, "Where will I sell cat buttons?" And he had actually told me when he was like 3, he was going around town putting up posters with me, and he told me that he wanted to grow up and run Deluxe, and I thought that was the sweetest thing I'd ever heard. And I had kind of forgotten that when I decided to quit. And then he saved Deluxe, basically, is because cat buttons needed a place. I mean, not that he doesn't have retail outlets, and a website, but like still, he just needs to have that booth at Deluxe. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys this poster that we made a few years ago, because I wanted to make it clear that like Deluxe is for everybody. So we had our designer make this poster. It says Deluxe is for grannies, granola moms, roller derby girls, break dancers, outcasts, hipsters, steampunks, fanboys. It's kind of dated because of steampunks, but
Hey, Punk's still going strong.
I know. Activists, ballers, queens, germps. Anybody know what a germp is? It's a Stefan reference. German Smurfs.
I should
Okay.
know that because I'm a big Stefan fan.
Okay, yeah, if you're a Stefan fan. So, but we just, we used this to promote it. We may have even put this in a Gazette ad or something one
Okay.
time, but I just wanted to like illustrate to everybody, like it's for everybody. It's not just for Meemaws. I love the word Meemaws, and I try to use it as much as I can. But I'd use it to illustrate, like, this is not your Meemaws craft fair, but bring her anyway, because she will love it, and so will you.
Nice.
So I just want to that's been the big thing, is just to make it friendly for everybody. And it's not the kind of thing you have to drag your husband to. Like, he might look forward to it because some of his bros might be there selling their leather goods.
Or cat buttons.
Or cat buttons, yeah. Man, cat buttons has more Instagram followers than me or Deluxe. Yeah, like the cat people on the internet, like they love some Instagram.
Well, we've got a national cat video conference here, if I'm not mistaken, that meets in the downtown, the remodeled area of where the big glass building, which name I can't think of right now is. So, is anyone here a creative who has demoed there or had a booth there or is thinking about it at all? Anyone here the kind of person that creates or creates their own things?
Letitia's new, yeah.
What's your name? Letitia. What kind of artwork do you do? Okay.
She and her husband invented a device that you can use. It's kind of self-watering and automatic self-watering gardening box, and it's good for people with limited mobility. It's good for people who might have a terrible lawn or bad soil or something. There's just all kinds of cool reasons to use it. And they're gonna be selling their product at Deluxe. I'm excited about that. And she donated a gift certificate for a free system for our raffle because I decided to add an element to the fundraiser where adults can participate too. Because used to be the fundraiser was just kids buying things in the elf market, whereas the adults were standing outside with their fat wallets with nothing to do. So now we have a raffle to give to raise money for Curbside Chronicle, and one of the prizes is a $200 system from you guys. So thank you for donating that.
Very cool. Any other questions for Sarah at all? Normally what we do is we have this go the full hour because we kind of bring in the food at 11:30 and then we go from 12 to 1. However, Tommy was very observant and realized that some people need to get back to work. So this is the point where we're going to kind of wrap this up, and Sarah and I are going to hang around. Mr. Stack's going to do some closing announcements here, but please help me give a big round of applause to Sarah. Don't forget, she bought swag and some cool sunglasses over here. And if you guys don't get sunglasses, I'm always the kind of person, because I have such a big head and it's shiny, I like the small white sunglasses because they look ridiculous on me. So make sure you grab something, because she was nice enough to bring those for us. But you're going to hang around for a little bit and answer your questions?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay. And sir, what's
They don't look ridiculous on me.
No, that's good.
Awesome.
What else do we have going on?
So there's a whole lot of stuff going on as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Gosh, I've said it so many times, but now my tongue's getting tied. So this afternoon, we've got the Art of Networking presented by David Woods. That's 4 o'clock here at Starspace. There's an Eventbrite. Please go there and register. There's a Startup OKC happy hour at 5 o'clock. That will be here at Starspace. Tomorrow, I'm pretty excited that we're bringing in Mike Crandall from Sandler Training to do a session just on building revenue for your startup. It's called How to Build a Growth-Driven Startup from 11 to 3. It's a 4-hour training. We've got a special promo code we're offering to folks who are attending this event and all the other events in front of this at Starspace 46, SS46 Sandler. There's an event right, just search Starspace 46, it'll pop up. But that's tomorrow. Please register today if you're interested. Google Cloud is here, and participate in some of the activities.